Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Angel Abundance here, the financial physician. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite savings vehicles for FIRE. And specifically, what we're talking about is a properly structured, maximum funded IUL, Universal Life Policy. And I'm going to talk to you about why it's a great tool as part of your FIRE journey. So stick around. We're going to get into it. FIRELife. All right, welcome back, everyone. So, on today's episode, we're going to talk about what I like to call a FIRE fund. Now, FIRE fund is basically a universal life policy, a permanent policy that you can use to build up cash value, and with using the indexing strategy that allows you to capitalize on the gains of the market without a lot of the volatility that you see in having a standard indexed fund or a taxable account or a 401k or IRA or Roth IRA. Now with the Roth, it's not too bad because it's tax free, but it's still subject to the volatility of the market. So earlier this year with the pandemic, we had a 38% drop in value, and a lot of people saw a big reduction in their investments. But luckily things have come back, but the things, it's up and down, right? And it's like right now we're going through this little tech, drop, and it's affecting people's investments. So one of the things I love about an IUL is that even though it goes negative, right, throughout the year, if we have a negative year like we've had previous years, you don't lose any of your principal and gains that you have in your IUL policy. So let's get into some of this. This is going to be maybe some news for you. And one of the most important things that I stress about an IUL policy is that it has to be properly structured for maximum cash value. Not every policy is created the same. Okay, if you're working with an agent who doesn't understand how this works, and how to properly structure for maximum cash value, you could be paying for a lot more insurance than you really need. And it will actually deplete the cash value that you start to build. So it's very important that it's structured the right way. So that's very, very key. Whoever you're working with, make sure that they know how to properly structure for maximum cash value. You want to ask questions about like becoming your bank, the infinite banking concept, and really you got to make sure that you're working with someone that understands and knows how to properly structure it for maximum cash value. The other thing is that you want to fund it to the max. So the IRS controls how much you can put in your FIRE fund, in your IUL policy. And you are limited to the amount of cash that you can put into it, because if you put too much, they're going to consider this as an investment, and it's not an investment, it's a savings vehicle. So it's very important that you understand that they have limits. The IRS sets certain limits, and it's all based on the amount of death benefit that you have. Now, if you properly structure the policy, you can make it so that you have enough death benefit to put the maximum cash that you want to put in. So let's say I want to put in $100,000 a year, right? I may need to structure it so I have a certain amount of death benefit. Let's say 500,000, 750,000, whatever it is, a million, whatever the amount is. And you have to make sure that you have enough death benefit. Otherwise, you're going to turn it into a modified endowment contract or a MEC. And you do not want to MEC your policy, because once it becomes a MEC, now it becomes taxable. All the growth that happens within your policy becomes taxed. So you don't want to do that. Thanks to certain rules, the IRS Codes 72A, 7702, and 101A, if you're not familiar with these, or you make sure your agent is very familiar with these, because that is what dictates the rules of life insurance and what allows it to be a potential cash cow. And so that you can have tax-free growth and tax-free income later when you get older in years and you're ready to start pulling some of that out. Now, this is very different than probably your traditional insurance, probably traditional whole life insurance that you're used to, or even normal insurance that you might heard talk about. And why you hear like, oh, whole permanent insurance or whole life insurance is so bad, is because people don't know how to properly structure them, and it could really be a bad vehicle for your money if you don't know what you're doing. But this IRS codes here allow you to be able to put a lot of money in, a lot more than some of the limitations that let's say an IRA might have, or a Roth IRA, right? You're only allowed to put about $6,000, $6,500, whatever it is, per year. with IUL, I can put 100,000, 400,000, 500,000, depending on how much money I have and how much I want to put into this. But it also allows me then to have it grow tax-free and be able to withdraw the money tax-free. So that's the beauty of these permanent life policies and the IRS code, which have been grandfathered for probably close to 100 years now. So which allows it to be a great savings vehicle with the potential for a lot of growth using indexing strategies. So let's get into this. So what I like to call a FIRE fund, right? FIRE, this is what this is all about. This is what we teach, and this is what our company is all about, teaching FIRE, financial independence, so you can retire early. And if you properly structure a policy early on in your years, if you're millennial, your 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, you can put enough money in there and allow you to be able to retire, right? Whatever your FIRE goal is, whether it's 9, 15, 17 years, whatever it is. And you can start to pull that money out. Once you have enough in there and it's earning interest, compounding interest, then you'll be able to pull that money out and be able to use that money. And it's pretty amazing. So, now you want an index universal life policy created, I believe in 1987 or 88, something like that, by E.F. Hutton. And they created it because they realized, because of the rules within the tax code, that it will allow it to grow and be able to use indexed funds tied to the market, not specifically invested in the market, but be able to buy options. And as the market would grow, then you would be able to capitalize on some of those gains. So, great product, very different than whole life and standard other permanent types of policies. You can average between 6 to 10% growth tax-free. Tax-free. Okay? Now, some of the other key benefits on some of the policies, depending on what company you work with, is that a lot of them will have a 0% floor, which means that if there's a negative year in the market, you will not lose any of your principal and gains that you have in there. So it's very, very important. You can lead to having no losses, and you have to be careful because you do have the cost of insurance. So let's say I put in $10,000 into a policy for the year because of the cost of insurance, right? For the death benefit that I do have, let's say I have, I don't know, $500,000 of coverage or $1 million or whatever it is. You got to pay for the insurance. So I might put in 10,000 and I might only have 9,000 of cash value because that other 1,000 would go to the cost of insurance. But by having that floor, right, could equal no losses from the market and from the volatility of the market, right? So no volatility, and that gives you peace of mind that it continues to grow and compound year after year. And depending if you use rebalancing, you can average, between, let's say, 6 to 10%, right? So even on down years, you might be say, I think that the market's going to go down a little bit. I'm going to, take the guaranteed rate that the insurance company offers, and maybe you might get 4% for the year, but it'll average out to higher than just leaving it in, let's say, an index fund tied to the S&P 500 or something like that. But another key benefit will help you supplement your retirement. And that's what we're all about here, right? Financial independence. You can retire early. So if you maximum fund your cash value policy, you can be able to start to access that money well before retirement age of 59 and a half. For all of your qualified accounts like a 401k, an IRA, Roth, you can't touch that money until age 59 and a half. Well, with a properly structured max funded IUL, FIRE fund, you can actually begin to pull money from your policy through policy loans tax-free before the age of 59 with no tax penalties or anything like that. So there's different ways you can get money out. We're going to have another video that talks about that. But if you do it the smart way, you can begin to access this cash immediately. The moment you put it in, I put it in this year. I'd say I put in $10,000 this year. Tomorrow I could probably go and pull some of it out and use that for infinite banking, my family bank, or whatever it is that I want to use that money for. Maybe invest it into real estate or property, whatever. So we're going to get to some of that. So income before age 59 and a half. Very important. And again, I can access the money to create my family bank. Let's say I want to buy a car, right? I want to pay cash for the car, and I can just pay that money back. And we're gonna have a video that talks about this, about the family bank. If you're familiar with the infinite banking concept, maybe I want to pull some of that money out to invest in real estate or invest in a business, right? So I can access that money. Let's say I have, $500,000 in my IUL, in my fire fund, and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna pull out 400,000 and take a loan against that, and that loan is basically not pulled directly out of there. It's actually taken from the death benefit. The death benefit is used as collateral against that money that I take out, and then I can go and buy, let's say, a property, a real estate property, and let's say it takes me a few months to fix it, flip it, whatever it is that I want to do. I paid cash for it, right? So I don't have a mortgage or anything like that. And in the meantime, my money is still sitting in my account, and it's still growing. It's still collecting interest. The insurance company is still paying me interest on that loan while I use the money. I'm getting paid interest on my money while I'm using it. Okay, this is the beauty of these types of policies, and make sure you're smart. You got to do it the right way. Let's say I go and I take that 400,000 and I invest in a property and I fix and I flip it, and let's say I'm able to get $500,000, $6,000. So I made another $100,000, $200,000 on that money. I get my money back, put that right back, pay off that loan. Now my fire fund is right back to where it was at before, but I have this extra money now, and I've used that dollar more than once. It's a beautiful thing. So, family banking, cars, real estate, businesses, whatever it is, right? Maybe I want to go use that money to start a business and start earning interest on that and earning dividends or whatever it is. So it's a very, very, very unique type of asset to have as part of your diverse portfolio on your fire journey. Some of the other key benefits of IULs, and it depends on the company, it depends on the state and where you're at, but one of the companies that we work with has some amazing benefits, living benefits. IULs, Universal Life, was created for living benefits. You'll be able to access the money while you're alive, be able to use the money, but it also has accelerated benefits. So if I have $1 million IUL policy, I might have some cash value in there as well. But let's say I were to die, or let's say I were to get, not die, but let's say I were to get a terminal illness. I get diagnosed with cancer or something, and the doctor says, you know what, you're stage 4 pancreatic cancer, you're going to die within 24 months. I can file a claim and I can get, let's say, 80-90% of the death benefit right now while I'm alive, so that I can be able to go through my death nobly and be able to use it to, maybe I can use it to do some experimental cure or something, or treatment, and next thing you know, I'm actually alive. But I'm able to access that money while I'm alive. The other thing is chronic. If you have some sort of a chronic illness, let's say you can't do two out of 3 or 2 out of 6 daily functions. You can't go to the bathroom, you can't eat, you can't walk, can't change yourself. Let's say it's 2 out of the 6 you can't do. Then they start to pay me out every month a portion of the death benefit. So you have $1 million, maybe I'm getting, $5,000-$6,000 a month, whatever it is. Also, if you have a critical illness, right? Let's say you do get cancer, but it's not terminal, or let's say COPD or some other type of critical illness that you get. Maybe you get paralyzed or something, or you get in a coma, COVID, or whatever it is. You can actually also get money for that as well. They might pay you out a portion of the death benefit. And also critical injury. Let's say you're in an accident, right? You didn't die, but you got hurt. Maybe you got a leg that had to get amputated, or maybe you became paralyzed or something. Again, they would pay you out from the death benefits. So accelerated death benefits, there's some of the living benefits that they offer, and there's also some unique things. One of the companies that we work with, guaranteed lifetime income benefits. So they will begin to pay you out, and depending on how you structure it, but they can begin to pay you out lifetime benefits that are guaranteed for life, and it will never deplete your policy, your family. Even let's say you're getting income for the rest of your life till you're 100 years old, your family will still get, let's say, up to $15,000 to be able to cover your funeral and burial expenses. So very unique options. It's not for everyone, but if you're let's say don't have a whole bunch of savings in there that will last you to the rest of your retirement, activating the lifetime guaranteed income rider could help you out and allow you to be able to keep getting some money and help supplement, let's say, Social Security or disability benefits or whatever it is, but your family would still get a portion of up to $15,000 when you die. So at least help cover the burial and funeral expenses. So fire fund, definitely you want to consider it as part of your fire journey. You want to have other taxable investments. You want to have real estate. You want to have regular non-taxable investments or tax-deferred investments like 401ks and IRAs and Roths. But it's part of having a diversified portfolio as part of your fire journey, trying to maximize your money as much as possible. And this is a very unique vehicle, something you might want to consider so that you can be able to access tax-free income well before 59.5. So as you're on your journey to retire early, and let's say you want to stop working completely, let's say at age 45, 50, 55, whatever it is, you can start to access some of this money until your other investments mature and you're able to start pulling some of that money out. Or maybe you just want to let them continue to grow, and I'm not going to start touching those tax deferred investments until I absolutely have to, right? When RMDs kick in or something like that. But we're going to have other videos that are going to talk about how you want to actually be a lot smarter with those types of tax deferred accounts and actually do what we like to call a strategic roll out, not a rollover, a roll out, where you start to pull some of that money out, pay the taxes on it now while it's small, and just get the taxes over and done with, put it in a fire fund, a maximum funded, properly structured IUL policy, a fire fund, and then now you have a tax-free cash cow. So very important, something to consider as part of your wise financial strategy to get to fire. So with that, if you need help, let's say you have an insurance policy and you need someone to help review it and see what you have and see how we might be able to maybe switch that around and make it a fire fund, that's something that we would do. We're happy to help you out. Feel free to reach out. But either way, talk to your professional, your financial advisor, whoever that is, that can help you and make sure they understand how to properly fund a maximum cash value fire fund IUL. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Angel Bundes, Coach Angel, as I am referred to, the financial physician. I'm here to help you out with all of your fire questions, and looking forward for you guys to come on back and check us out. So remember, like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell so you get the notifications whenever we put out new content. We have a whole laundry list of stuff that's going to be coming out. And hey, check out my FIRELife playbook, and it'll give you an idea about fire. If you're not familiar with fire and the financial independence, retire early movement, check out the playbook. It'll give you an idea of what it's all about and help you think about having a fire life. So, hey, I appreciate you all. Take care. Goodbye. Fire.